We're going to be first doing meditation. You can do that sitting up, lying down, standing on your head. You can do it however you want. The second one will be yoga nidra. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's a form of deep relaxation. We did a yoga nidra this past Wednesday, and it was received really well. People liked it, so we're going to do a yoga nidra again. And for that, you're going to want to have something comfortable on the floor, so like a yoga mat or a couple yoga mats and a blanket. Or you can lie on your bed. It's nice to have something under your head and then something under your knees, especially if you have low back problems. So that's the setup for yoga nidra. It's basically just be as comfortable as you can, have a blanket nearby. A lot of people get chilly during it. And then we'll end with another meditation, either sitting or lying down. It's up to you. So thanks for spending the time with us. And hopefully the rest of the day will be gorgeous. I think it's supposed to be. So let's just begin by finding a comfortable seated position. If you're deciding to do this lying down, that's fine too. But wiggle around, find a chair, a cushion, or the floor, and just adjust yourself so you're comfortable. If you're sitting on the floor on a cushion, you're gonna want your back to be upright, straight. If you're in a chair, same thing, not rigid, but almost as if there was a string pulling up at the crown of your head. And if you're lying down, just be comfortable. And beware that if you're lying down, the chances of you falling asleep are high if you're at all tired. So I just wanted to start by thanking my good friend Allie Brooks for the artwork that I have behind me. I commissioned that piece called Magnolias, and I thought it was perfect to have it behind me today since all the magnolias are blooming right now at the Arboretum. So if you haven't seen them, get over there. They're really gorgeous and smelling wonderful. If anybody wants to know about Allie's art or would like to commission a piece for her, her website is medicinefortheheart.com. I'm loving the idea of supporting local artists right now. So anyway, let's get to meditating. Do a little stretching, little shoulder roll, just kind of moving your body in a way that's going to allow you to arrive in your body. Gentle neck stretches from side to side. If it's comfortable for your neck, just allowing it to roll forward, back and forth. And let's do some backwards shoulder rolls. Mine are crunchy. And some forward shoulder rolls. Good. Okay. All right, finding your seat. And I want to emphasize that, when we're watching a guided meditation and there's a video, it's very tempting to watch the instructor, especially with the beautiful artwork. But the idea is to go inward. So it's going to be much harder for you to go inward if you're looking at me or looking at the art or looking around your room. So I would really strongly encourage you, if it feels safe, to close your eyes. And if it doesn't feel safe today for whatever reason, there's no shame in that. There are a number of reasons why it feels better to have your eyes open. And you can just have your eyes kind of softly downcast, looking at your feet, or if you've got a blanket on your lap, you can look at the blanket. But just soft eyes, if you're going to keep them open, is what I would suggest. So that, because the eyes, the sense of seeing is so grabby. And so it really wants to pull you in different directions. It's very, very hard to, there are some forms of meditation where you do keep your eyes open and stare at a wall, and many others. But That would be my suggestion for today. So, finding your seat and allowing yourself to assume a comfortable but not rigid posture. And just begin by noticing your body sitting here or lying down. Just becoming aware of where your body is touching the floor, the bed, or a chair. Really inhabiting your body. One of the things about anxiety is it's almost a prerequisite to be disembodied. Anxiety is what happens when we're cut off from our bodies. It's all up in the head or above the head is where it kind of feels like to me. And so one way to work with anxiety and stress is by simply learning to inhabit the body. And if you would have said that to me 10, 15 years ago, I really would not have known exactly what you were talking about, like from a personal perspective. So if you're really out of touch with your body right now, don't worry about it. It's very conditioned in our culture to be super disconnected from the body. And so rather than being hard on yourself, just see if you could notice just the pressure of one body part, like the pressure of your feet against the floor, or the pressure of your buttocks against the chair. See if you can notice one part of your body where there might be some sensation like pressure or temperature. And your mind may be going, well, okay, that's nice. What do I do with this sensation now? I'm just supposed to like sit there and watch it. And so, yes, you are. And what you'll find as you get more and more used to being in your body, you'll start to notice more sensation. And sometimes you'll notice that you're numb and there's a lack of sensation. And so there's no good or bad or right or wrong. It's just tuning in to what might be presenting itself here. And this is, again, this is very hard for a lot of Americans and probably other people too from other countries, but I'm just familiar with my culture and I think it's very difficult for a lot of Americans. So be real gentle with yourself if being in the body or knowing what you're experiencing in the body is challenging for you right now. It's something that is a skill that you can practice. It's not like you have it or you don't. So now let's shift attention to utilizing the breath to help us enter into our bodies, become aware of the body. So breathing in, if you can, through your nose. And on your next in-breath, seeing if you can trace the, the touch sensation of the breath all the way from the tip of the nose down the back of the throat. So just see if you can become aware of the touch sensation of breath against your throat and in your nose. One way to heighten, if you're having trouble feeling that, one way to heighten the sensation of breath in your throat and nose is by constricting your throat a little bit, almost as if you were going to whisper. It's ujjayi breathing. in yoga is what it's called. And in your head, it sounds a little bit like you're breathing like Darth Vader. So you're not cutting off the breath. It's still very easy to breathe. You're just you're making the walls of the back of your throat a little bit stiffer, and so the air moving by it makes a little more noise, and you can hear it a little bit better in your head. So try that now. And if ujjayi breathing is just like, I don't know what that is, I don't want to do it, just breathe normally but deeply into the belly, noticing this pathway between the third eye, tip of the nose, and it'll feel like you have sensation in the back of your throat too if you're just paying attention to that little pathway of breath. Let's just do that for a few moments together, just noticing that pathway of breath. Now, pausing your breath awareness for a moment and just doing a check in with your body right now. Just asking the body, are there any places that I'm holding my muscles tightly that are not required for just sitting upright, if that's what you're doing? So, we'll often hold tension in the pelvis or the buttocks without knowing it. The adductors, the muscles on the inside of the legs. So just pay attention to the lower body and see if there's any holding that you can breathe into in the lower body. And then on the out breath, just invite the lower body to soften a little bit more. And move the awareness up to the upper half of the body, the torso, the arms, the face. And just inwardly ask yourself, am I holding any of these muscles that aren't necessary for sitting? Am I holding them tightly? Sometimes it's the body's way of protecting or resisting. It's we're not even aware of what we're not even aware of it. So just notice, notice the eyes or and the all the little muscles around the eyes. It's the one where we really commonly hold tension without realizing it. So just imagine your eyes just dropping back in their sockets. Imagine the jaw dropping, and maybe even for a moment, allow your jaw to just drop and hang, seeing what that feels like. Imagine the forehead softening and the cheeks softening, and then the inside of the mouth softening. Good. Just wanted you to do a brief check in with your body as we can start doing a breath focused meditation, and the body can be really resisting and holding. And if we can just do a brief check in and then come back to the breath. Back to that ujjayi breathing, or breathing in for a count of 4 and breathing out for a count of 8. So in through the nose, and you can do this with ujjayi breathing, but let's everybody breathe in through the nose for a count of 4, and then we're going to hold for 7. If you do not have any breathing problems, this is a technique I teach almost every time I teach meditation because It is such a powerful calmer of the fight or flight system. So many of you have heard me teach it before, so it's redundant. If you already know what you're doing, just go ahead and start doing it. And if you're new to 4-7-8 breathing, I'll give you a brief explanation. You can keep your eyes closed or downcast. Essentially, 4-7-8 breathing is thousands of years old. It comes from the yogic tradition. It's a form of pranayama or breathing exercise. And the yogis, these people who studied the science of union or the science of living, they figured these things out a long time ago. They figured out a long time ago that breathing in certain ratios is very calming for the nervous system. And it's been now supported by science. And had a little anecdote about 4-7-8 breathing from one of my best friends who I just taught it to a couple weeks ago. And she was having some anxiety, but she taught it to her mom. And her mom has been having really high blood pressure, like 140s, 150s, over like 80s or 90s. And her mom started doing 4-7-8 breathing to lower her stress. And I think it was about a week later, she was rechecking her blood pressure and it had come down to like 107/70, I think she said. So this technique is really powerful, is what I'm getting at. This 4-7-8 breathing is incredibly powerful. It can change the body because almost all illnesses are on some level stress related. So if you can lower your stress levels and calm the fight or flight system, your whole body then can heal better and take care of itself better. And I just love the fact that this stuff has been scientifically supported. You know, it's evidence-based medicine. So anyway, after all that explanation, let's get back to the actual breathing. So I'm going to count for you. I'm going to count for a count of 4. You're going to breathe in through your nose. You need to breathe in relatively quickly to get enough air in. And the idea is that you're breathing in through your nose and you're breathing down into your belly. Okay, belly breathing is much more calming than breathing up here in the shoulders. And then if you don't have any COPD, asthma, emphysema, lung problems, etc., I'm gonna do a count of 7 and you're gonna be breath holding. And so there's more oxygen getting into your body during that breath hold. You're giving the capillaries, the little cells in your lungs that exchange oxygen, you're giving them an opportunity to get more oxygen. And the brain really likes that, as you might imagine. So then we're going to do, on the out breath, a count of 8. And many of you will need to purse your lips. It's through the mouth. The other additional thing about 4-7-8 breathing that I've been trying to figure out why scientifically this is. And recently, a participant actually got back to me that she had asked her yoga teacher why I recommend putting your tongue on the right behind your front teeth. So kind of on the roof of your mouth, but right behind the front teeth. Her yoga teacher had told her that that there were meridians that went up, the energy meridians that went up the front and the back, and the only place they connected was in the mouth. So that was the explanation. So I do think it's about energetic pathways. So you're going to put the tongue right behind your front teeth. Those of you who've been doing the 4-7-8 breathing who know it already have been doing it for a long time. So you can switch to 4-8 and drop the breath hold. For those of you learning this for the first time, let's begin. All right, so I want you to breathe all the air out and in through your nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're not doing the breath hold, just skip it and do 4-8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Return to just natural, relaxed breathing. Notice, is your awareness any different than it was before we did the breathing? Tuning into the breath. When the mind wanders, not a problem at all. With really great gentleness and patience. When the mind wanders, we just notice what it's wandered to. Pause for a moment and then come back to the breath. So there's nothing harsh about it, nothing critical. And if you notice your mind being perfectionistic or critical, know that that's not part of the technique, that actually mindfulness meditation, part of the definition is a non-judgmental awareness, a non-judgmental awareness. So that's what we're practicing. That's what we're cultivating, is a softness in our own minds towards ourselves, a kind voice. So when you wander, either in that kind voice or just with an image, you can even imagine taking yourself by the hand and just redirecting yourself back to the next breath. Sometimes it helps with these more dramatic, like attention grabbers, to like visualize I'm taking my own hand and leading it back to the breath. That can be really helpful if the mind is really, really busy or scattered, because it's not as subtle. It's a more it's a kind return to the breath, but it's a little more dramatic. So the mind kind of takes note a little bit better. That may not be needed if you've been practicing for a while, or if your mind happens to be particularly calm today. You may just see that the mind has wandered, and you might catch it quickly and then return to the breath. But again, there's no right or wrong or good or bad or better or less than here. We're all just on the path, all just trying to wake up a little bit more each day. Spend a little more time in reality in the present moment instead of in the illusions or regrets or delusions about the past. So now that you've had some instruction, we're going to spend a period of silence. And same instructions. Notice the breath. You can do it at your nose, chest, belly, wherever you can watch the breathing most easily. Mind wanders, bring it back to the breath with gentleness, non judgment. And that's the practice. That's the doing it again and again. That is the changing the brain. That is shifting neurons, that repetition. It's what affects neuroplasticity is the repetition of a habit. Noticing where your awareness is right now. Maybe you're on the breath. Maybe the mind is tangented off into some big story, which would certainly be very normal. So just noticing, maybe the mind was, maybe the awareness was on body sensations or grocery lists, or maybe the mind was still. Doesn't really matter. The whole practice is about allowing and inviting in whatever is here right now. So if the mind is still, the mind is still. If the mind's busy, the mind's busy. And when we decide to undertake a practice like this, one option is to start to notice that our mind has all sorts of preferences. It likes this, it doesn't like that, it's bored with that, that's neutral. And so we're cultivating this way of learning how to be with experience and try to let go of that feeling of grabbing for it and trying to get it to never change because we like it so much, or hating it and pushing it away and having our whole body get tight and rigid. So we're while we're meditating, we're noticing these qualities of aversion, or this like grabbiness where we want to keep that experience. And this is very useful because, especially during times like this, because we can start to notice that if we're not grabbing onto it or pushing away, most experience will just sort of drift through like energy or like a passing phenomena. It's when we grab onto it or we push it away that experiences perpetuate and last longer. And so if we can notice that everything is always changing, it's one of the truths, everything is always in flux, everything is always changing. So if you like what's happening right now in your life, it's going to change. If right now is a really hard time for you in your life, and for many people it is, know that that will change. It's just a truth, it has to. So starting to notice these in sitting practice, these qualities of like, ooh, I really like that story about, you know, going on a backpacking trip. That's one of mine lately. And ooh, I want to grab onto that idea and start making plans there. Or, oh, there's this feeling of sadness here. Really don't want to go there. Seeing if you can open to everything and allow it to be there, but also aware of your attachment to it, and seeing if you can just sort of like open your hands in this sort of like expression of letting go or surrender or letting be. So we're just trying to let be. We're trying to allow whatever's coming through the awareness. And if at any point during any of the meditations or anything we do today or in future sessions, if you do start to feel anxiety or dis-ease, it's not about necessarily trying to fix or change something, but it's about helping the body be comfortable enough that it can sit and then it can try to tune into natural presence and awareness. If the mind is so anxious and busy that you just feel like you're going crazy, that's not doing anybody any good. So, any time you can do four of those 4, 7, 8 breaths, or if you have breathing problems, you can do the 1 to 2, the 4 to 8, or the 3 to 6. That's just a reminder you can always, always pause and do something different to take care of yourself, no matter what the guided instruction is. Always trust your intuition above all else. So, tuning back into breath now. For those who want to repeat a cycle of 4, 7, 8 breathing, you could do that. With eyes closed, just allowing the sounds to fall in your ears. Just aware of sound. Mind attuned to sound, just like mind was attuned to breath. And then slowly starting to move your body. And we're going to have a period of mindful movement. As you can see, my space here in front of this painting is very small. So I'm not going to be guiding the mindful movement, but I want you, and if you need to take a break to go to the bathroom, this would be a good time. Get a drink of water. We're going to take about 5 minutes. And then when we come back, we're going to get set up for yoga nidra. So what I want you to do though, in the next 5 minutes is really try to stay in your body. There's a tendency as we start to move to get right back into our heads, to get right back into what we're seeing visually. So see if you can sort of almost stay really present with each movement of your body, seeing if you can maintain embodiment with movement. It definitely is not easy. So let's all do that for 5 minutes. You can just move your body in whatever way feels good. If you do yoga, you can do a little stretching. And then we'll meet back here in about 5 minutes. I'll ring another bell in case you're doing something, and then you'll hear the bell. See you in 5 minutes. So this is the F sharp bowl for the heart chakra, and the red one is C for the root chakra. I'm really hoping that the sounds of these bowls is pleasant over Zoom, because I'm just realizing this is not going to be good if it was really high pitched or something. So I apologize in advance if my little experiment went awry. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get set up for yoga nidra. So what I want you to do is make yourself a nest, get as cozy as you can, and either on your bed or the floor, yoga mat, whatever, as cozy as you can be. And so, many people will layer yoga mats and then blankets on top of that. And I personally love to be cozy. So when I do yoga nidra, it is quite a production with the props. Yeah. And I had said this before, but you may want something under your knees for, yeah, just so your low back isn't arched weirdly. So the classical way to lay for yoga nidra is in yoga what is called corpse pose. But that being said, in corpse pose is basically you're lying on your back, your palms are upright on the floor or bed, and your knees are just kind of comfortably laying apart, and your feet are splayed outwards, about the width of a yoga mat or whatever's comfortable. I have heard that one reason the palms are up is so that nothing's touching the fingertips, because that can kind of keep you in the physical realm, with the touch sensation. We have a lot of receptors on our fingers. Anyway, so you can do yoga nidra lying on your back with your palms up, but if that's uncomfortable for your shoulder, or you just feel safer with one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest, or you can't lay on your back and you need to lay on your side, like ultimately, if you're uncomfortable, yoga nidra is hard to do. So get as comfortable as you can. If that's the classical yoga nidra posture, fabulous. If it's not, don't worry about it. You're gonna be better off just being comfortable. Okay, so I did a yoga nidra last Wednesday from Scott Moore, same last name as me, not relation. And Scott Moore, it's Scott Moore Yoga LLC. So I just want to give him the credit because it's his script, not mine. I have not gotten to the point of writing my own yoga nidra yet. It's a goal. Okay, so get comfy, get cozy. Remember, you're not watching me, you're going inward. Eyes are either closed or softly open, and you are lying down. Some of this will sound familiar if you were here on Wednesday. I'm kind of combining two of Scott's yoga nidras, to mix it up a little bit, but also because I really liked the one we did on Wednesday and thought there were some useful parts. So welcome to Yoga Nidra. As you begin, give yourself complete permission to allow anything that arises during this practice to simply be. If it's a sound or an emotion or a physical sensation, whatever it is, I invite you to simply welcome it in, recognize it for what it is, and simply be the witness of whatever arises. Welcome, recognize, and witness. Welcome, recognize, and witness. And allow it to be just as it is. And remember, your job is not to fix or change anything. Through deep, prolonged, and systematic awareness, you will work to open to your truest self. And remember that the feeling of your most natural state of being is that of relaxed awareness. Relaxed awareness is our most natural state of being. It just gets very covered up with all the stress and chaos and busyness of the world. Now is the perfect time to be practicing Yoga Nidra. Our most natural state of being is relaxed awareness. It's what is underneath everything. And so the more you practice Yoga Nidra, the more you're going to be able to catch glimpses of that relaxed awareness. And eventually you feel that more than all the busyness or the monkey mind. It's a long process, but worth it. So please make yourself as comfortable as possible, turning off all cell phones and gadgets, televisions, etc., etc. Try to set the conditions to avoid distractions. While we know that you can't really control it if your kid runs in the room or your dog does, or your spouse or your roommate's yelling for you. So things are going to arise, things like sounds and emotions and memories. And just simply remember that your job is not to try to ignore these when they come. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Like I said before, just use whatever arises as a simple way of practicing relaxed awareness and acceptance for things just as they are during this practice. So you don't have to make your environment perfect, because when the dog bounds in there and licks your face, the point is going to be to practice awareness with the dog licking your face. I invite you to follow my words, and as you do so, you will become systematically more relaxed. My hope is that through our practice today, you become increasingly more aware of the deepest ground of your being, which is simply awareness. So to begin, start with a few deep breaths in through the nostrils with sighs out of your mouth. Breathe in through the nostrils. Maybe hold your breath for a second, then open your mouth and offer a long, loud sigh. If you're feeling extra stressed in this moment, you might want to even make it more vocal. Sighing is really helpful to start to cue the body that it can start to relax. That's all we're doing with these practices, is we're cueing the body, like, oh, it's safe to relax. Now begin to breathe deeply in and out of your nostrils. If you know Ujjayi breathing, practice a few rounds of Ujjayi breathing. If you're not familiar with Ujjayi breathing, it's slow and deep nostril breathing, which focuses a little bit more on the exhales than on the inhales. Also, with Ujjayi breath or whisper breath, you breathe in such a way that constricts the airflow just a bit in the back of your throat, giving you a whisper both on the inhale and the exhale. I call it Darth Vader breathing. Don't constrict your breath so much that you find it difficult to breathe, but merely enough to simply feel the texture of your breath. Whether with ujjayi breaths or simple deep breaths through your nostrils, continue breathing slowly. Remember to emphasize the exhale more than the inhale. This is key to relaxation and to lowering the stress response. You may find that your nervous system is already beginning to calm down. Keep your jaw nice and relaxed. Relax your face. And if there's any other way you can start to be more comfortable, do that now. Now release the ujjayi breathing or deep nostril breathing and just breathe naturally. Here you are lying down, eyes soft or closed, and simply open to whatever you happen to be most aware of in this moment. Be that the sound of my voice or an emotion you are experiencing in the moment. Just welcome, recognize, and witness whatever is most present for you. Now practice simply being curious about it. You don't have to fix it, you don't have to change it, you just notice it. Now, in this moment, I invite you to be aware of anything that feels outside of yourself. It might be temperature, sounds, smells, anything that feels external. Practice welcoming, recognizing, and witnessing whatever you're most aware of. And let's agree to let go of any sort of judgment about anything for the remainder of this Yoga Nidra practice. Now bring your attention inside to anything that feels internal to your being. It could be energy or physical sensation, emotions or thoughts. Simply notice with that neutral observation anything that feels internal. Go back to the external realm, to whatever feels outside. Welcome, recognize, and witness anything that feels external. Now internal. Again, notice anything that feels internal. And in this moment, I invite you to feel both what is inside and outside at the same time. Don't worry if this doesn't make sense. I invite you to do this nonetheless. Feel as if the boundary of your body was diffuse or porous, and what is external could also be internal. Feel both simultaneously. You might notice that while you can be aware of one thing in one moment and another thing in another moment, the thing that isn't changing is awareness. It is by all the changing things that you are aware of that which never changes, awareness itself. Everything is always changing except awareness. We are learning to be awareness itself. Now, in this part of our practice, you are going to establish your sankalpa. This is the seed of your intention. This is a sacred seed of intention that you will place upon the altar of your heart. Now, in terms of establishing your sankalpa, what I'd like you to do is ask yourself, what is the most harmful belief I have about myself? Believe me, we're getting somewhere. What is the most harmful or painful belief that I have about myself? So, for instance, many people have the belief I'm unlovable. I have recently recognized that I have an old belief that I've been working on of the belief I don't belong. And so many of us have that belief, and so many people are feeling lonely right now and isolated. And so I want you to examine a belief that you have. And it right now, for a lot of people, it may be I am alone, or I am isolated, or I don't belong. And I want you to think of what the antidote to that would be, okay? As if we could just magically feel the opposite. Because these old beliefs, they're stories that we retell in our heads, and we're practicing old harmful stories. So we need to replace stories that are worn out, that are no longer helping us. We need to replace them with better stories, with intentions that are going to serve us. So, for example, if my old belief is I don't belong, my sankalpa, so my antidote or my intention could be I belong to the universe, or I belong everywhere, or I belong and I am always here for you, sort of speaking to yourself. So take a few moments lying quietly and just examine the belief that's come up for you lately with all this quiet. Many people, not everyone, but many people right now have more quiet and stillness. Many people are very busy, and I'm so grateful for all of the people. But take a moment now to really notice the old beliefs about you that have been coming up lately, and pick one that is holding you back the most. And then come up with the sankalpa, the intention, the opposite statement. So if it was I am unlovable, it could be I love myself. Um, there's just so many, but it's phrased in a positive way and as if it's already happened or as if it's already happening. Okay, so hopefully most of you have your sankalpa now. And if that wasn't enough time, something good to go back to, because if we know what we're wanting to move towards, then the universe can help us manifest those things a lot easier. If we're kind of like flailing around and we don't know what our deepest longing is or our deepest intention or desire, it's a little bit harder. So it's a good thing to spend time with. So now in this part of our practice, we will establish the sankalpa. As I said, this is the seed of your intentions. So get back cozy in your nest if you were looking around or sitting up or anything like that. This is a sacred seed of intention that you will place upon the altar of your heart. As you practice these deepening layers of awareness through your Yoga Nidra practice today, you will align with your true nature, that of awareness itself, and thereby create the perfect conditions for this seed, this intention to grow and to bloom. Your Yoga Nidra practice will create the fertile soil for the seed of your intention to grow and to bloom and manifest in your life. Repeat your sankalpa 3 times in your mind now. In saying your Sankalpa several times, you are metaphorically placing the intention on the altar of your heart, and this will allow the universe to pinpoint the way in which you will come to know yourself through experiencing your natural state of relaxed awareness. Everything we do from here forward in our Yoga Nidra practice will serve to nourish this seed of intention, this Sankalpa, and give it the right conditions for it to grow and manifest in your life. If possible, I invite you to become even more relaxed. Now, choose a place. It might be a place you've been to, or it might be an imaginary place. This place will act like a sanctuary for you, a place where you are at your best, where you feel happy, where you feel love, and you feel at peace. This is your sanctuary, your oasis of peace. And this is a place you can always go to, whether you're in waking or dreaming consciousness. As you choose your sanctuary, I invite you to be there in your awareness, be in your sanctuary. Do this by filling all the details of your sanctuary as you run through your senses. So, is this place inside or outside? Is it daytime or nighttime in your oasis? Begin to notice what you see around you in your sanctuary. See with your own eyes the shapes, the colors, the textures, and the objects. What is all around you? Are there any other people there or animals? How close are they to you? How far away? Are you touching them? Now, what does it smell like in your sanctuary? Breathe in the scent. Remember, this is your sanctuary, so everything nurturing and comforting and safe. So, whatever smells bring those feelings to you, imagine those kinds of smells. The scent of your sanctuary fills your entire being. Notice what you can hear in your sanctuary. If there are any tastes in your sanctuary, taste those flavors on your tongue. What do you feel on your skin? Feel the temperature, textures, pressure, whether you are wet or dry, hot or cold. If you can feel the presence of another person or animal or being. What emotion exists in your sanctuary? Invite this emotion to rise to the surface and notice where you feel this emotion in your body. Practice welcoming this emotion, recognizing it as an emotion, and witnessing it as an emotion. You're simply noticing this emotion, this energy. Remember, this is a sanctuary where you can be at your best, a place where you feel happiness, peace, or love. Remember, there's no limit to the sanctuary. It never diminishes or goes away. It's a place that is always there for you, and you can come here anytime you wish. Now, I invite you to go deeper along this journey of Yoga Nidra with me. Begin to refine your attention by noticing the sensations of your body. I invite you to feel your entire body as broad, open awareness. There's nothing you need to do or change about your body. Simply feel your body as sensation. Feel your entire body as sensation. Bring all of your attention to the simple sensation of your mouth. Simply feel the sensation of mouth, lips, teeth, and tongue. Welcoming the sensation, recognizing it as sensation, as well as anything that spontaneously arises in your awareness. Simply be the witness to the sensation of mouth. Bring your attention to the sensation of eyes. Feel your eyelids, the place where they touch. Feel the weight of your eyeballs in their sockets. Feel all the muscles around your eyes and allow them to relax. Now be aware of the sensation of your ears. Simply feeling them as presence. Feel as if all the muscles around your ears could also relax. Simply aware of the sensation of ears. Now of nose, simply feeling the presence of your nose, your nostrils, and the bridge of your nose. In this moment, remember what it feels like to have had a facial or when you've just washed your face with a warm washcloth. And every pore in your entire face is open and fresh and alive. Adopt that feeling in your entire face in this moment. Feel this openness in your forehead and eyebrows, your eyes and your temples, the bridge of your nose and nostrils, your cheekbones and the planes of your cheeks, upper lip, lower lip, chin, and jaw. Feel the presence of your entire face, bright and relaxed. Feel your face as relaxed. Now bring your attention to the crown of your head and remember a time when you've had a scalp massage or you've put some sort of shampoo or eucalyptus or mint in your hair that makes your head tingle with a sort of effervescence. Allow the feeling of your entire scalp to become alive. Feel all those little muscles in your scalp that help your eyebrows raise or wiggle or that wiggle your ears. Allow all those little muscles to relax. Feel the crown of your head as weight and as softness, and feel your face as weight and softness. Feel your entire head at once, your face and scalp at the same time. Feel your head as one field of sensation, a sphere of sensation that has no real periphery, no real center, just broad sensation. Welcome your head as sensation. Recognize it as sensation and merely be the witness to the sensation of head. Now feel the sensation of throat and neck. Notice how good it feels to simply listen and not have to say anything at all in this moment. Relax and simply enjoy being quiet. As you listen to my words, feel the sensation of collarbones, shoulders, and then trace the sensation of your arms from shoulders down to your elbows, elbows through your forearms, to wrists, from wrists through fingertips. In this moment, put all of your attention on the sensation of your left hand, your thumb in particular. Feel your left thumb. Now place all of your attention on your right hand, your thumb in particular. Feel your right thumb. Left thumb, right thumb. Now feel both thumbs simultaneously. Just feel sensation as presence. Welcome, recognize, and witness the sensation of thumbs, not as two things, but as one thing. And you may notice that in one moment you are aware of one thing, and the next moment you are aware of another thing. But as you notice them together, you open to what is beyond things as separate, into a oneness, into awareness itself. As you may notice that in one moment you are aware of one thing, and the next moment you are aware of another thing. But as you notice them together, you open to what is beyond things as separate, into a oneness, into awareness itself. Different things you are aware of illuminate awareness itself. In this moment, I invite you to just be awareness. You are awareness experiencing itself in this moment as sensation. As awareness, be sensation of chest. Notice your heart beating in your chest and the movement of your breath as your chest lifts and lowers and naturally as awareness. Feel yourself experiencing yourself as the sensation of belly, soft and relaxed. Feel yourself as the back body. Now bring your attention to sensation as you feel the sensation of pelvis. Feel your legs from hips through thigh, bones to knees, knees to ankle, through ankles, down through your feet, and all the way down to your 5 toes. Feel your entire body head to toe, and feel your entire body as large, expansive, impossibly large without any real definition or perimeter. Your body is simply large. And now in this moment, feel your body as small. Feel your body as tiny. Adopt the feeling of smallness in your body. Your entire body is small without center. Now adopt the feeling of being very large again, looking down on something very, very small, an ant or a grain of sand, feeling very large compared to this small thing you are looking at. Now you are very small, looking out into the expanse of the universe. Maybe lying on the ground, looking up into space, feeling the largeness of it all. Now, in this moment, be both the expansiveness and the minute simultaneously. Be the part of you that cannot be defined by large or small. The part of you that just is, feelings like small and large, will come, and as you hold them simultaneously, you will discover the feeling and the experience of the part of you that never changes. The part is awareness itself. Be awareness itself. You are awareness expressing itself in the form of your body, of your energy, of your life. Feel how energy is manifesting in your body in this moment. See if energy is flowing or moving. Energy could manifest as colors, movement, heaviness or lightness, a feeling of vitality, relaxation, or dullness. Simply welcome, recognize, and witness any way in which energy feels in your body. Or perhaps there's a numbness, a feeling of an absence of energy. Just notice that. No need to fix or change or do anything. Now feel this energy move into places that help you to ground in your body. And if you can't feel it move, just imagine a pressure at these areas of your body, your hands, your feet, and your abdomen or belly. Grounding energy is moving into hands, feet, and belly, like building up a reservoir of energy that is grounded and stable. The grounded energy is always there when you need it, holding you comfortably. In this moment, notice how relaxed you have become. See if you can become 10% more comfortable than you are already. Is there anything else to let go of? Anything else to relax? Imagining the body melting like butter. Now I invite you to adopt the feeling of heaviness. Everything is heavy. Your arms are heavy and your legs are heavy. Your head is heavy, comfortably heavy, like somebody put a bunch of warm quilts on top of you. It feels nourishing and safe and comfortable, but heavy. And now everything feels very light. Adopt the feeling of lightness, like you could almost float or fly. Everything is light. Now everything's heavy again. Now imagine lightness. This isn't supposed to make sense, but now be both heavy and light. Be both heavy and light. What is that part of you that is both heavy and light? Awareness itself. Be awareness itself. Feel yourself as awareness, experiencing yourself as a body on the floor. Soon, together, we will be going on a journey, a visual journey. I want you to imagine that you are at the edge of a forest and you begin to walk down this beautiful forest path. There's little blue flowers all along both sides of the path. And the sunlight is filtering in through the trees, and the temperature is just perfect. There's this nice breeze, and you feel very safe and at peace. As you walk down the path, you start to sense that you're going to run into someone, and it's going to be an important meeting. And you continue down the path. Up ahead, you see what looks to be a cave, but draped over it are all these beautiful flowers hanging down. But it does look like an opening to a cave. And behind it, there's this very bright light glowing white. You're very drawn to it and you move towards it. When you enter, you're very surprised at what you see. You see your own form. So it's like the outline or the structure of your body and your face, but instead of looking like you have skin and color or texture to your body. It's more like your entire body is filled up with light, but in your form. You can tell that it's you. And the light body you is just sitting on the floor, looking very comfortable and very, very at peace. In fact, entirely at peace. You look at this being and you know that it's your face, but you don't ever remember feeling that at peace. So as you enter, the light being opens their eyes. They don't look surprised to see you. And you come and you sit down in front of them. It's a little weird because it's like looking into a mirror, but it's a light being. And you get this sensation of just being completely seen. The light body in front of you that looks like you, that has your eyes, looks at you with just the deepest compassion. It almost makes you feel like you're going to tear up because the being is looking at you with a total knowing of all the things you've been through, all the hurts, all the pains, all the regrets, all all the everything of your life. And all the things that you're not proud of or you wish you could take back or you wish you could do over, you can tell that they can see all of that stuff too, all the stuff you're ashamed about. And there is not one iota of judgment in their eyes. There's no judgment. It is pure awareness. It's pure love that they are looking at you with. There's no reservation, no criticism. It's just eyes of pure love, seeing you in your entirety and loving every part of you, the seen parts, the unseen, the parts you consider to be ugly, painful, and the parts that you're proud of. The being sees it all and loves you absolutely unconditionally. You get the sense that you don't need words with the light being. There's really no words needed. They basically know your thoughts. There's sort of like a communication going on in that you're receiving all this love. They're sending you all this love through their eyes. It's just the white light that's emanating from the entire form is feeling nourishing, like they're feeding you with energy. You're starting to feel more and more at ease, but also less and less tired and having more and more energy. Feeling like you're almost like bursting with creativity now. And it occurs to you, well, if this maybe is some sort of being that's me, but maybe evolved more, or who knows, you don't know what this is. But there's a sense that there's a real stillness about this being, and there's a real sense of love and ultimate compassion. And so there's the assumption, I guess, that this being knows some stuff that you don't know, knows some things that might be useful. And they may not even be things, they might be feelings or mm, healings. So sitting in front of this light being, In your mind, see what, if you believe in a soul, see what your soul wants to ask the being. So we're not using our brains so much for logic, but we're just sort of like sitting back and seeing if we could ask a question. For example, what is most important for me to know now? It could be that broad. Being, help me, help show me what I need to know to live my best life, or however you want to phrase it. So take a moment to commune with your light being, and instead of reaching into your logical cognitive brain for the answer, just be there with the being and sit back and wait and just see if a thought or image or color or sensation drops in, and just allow it. Having received whatever gift that you've received from your light being, you look again into their eyes, and the light being says, I have one final gift for you. And as you breathe in, it's almost like the light being dissolves into just light. So there's no form anymore. And you breathe in the light. And you see as the light diffuses throughout your entire being. And it's soothing and healing every cell of your physical and energetic body. Shimmering, it feels like liquid love moving through your body, healing everything. So you're feeling really easeful and really energetic. And you sit up, you bow to the place where the light being was as a sign of gratitude and respect. And then you turn around and you go out through the flowers, through the opening of the cave. You walk back down the path. And you have the sense that no matter whether or not you got a clear message today, that something has shifted, that there's been a new opening or a new insight, whether it was felt or heard cognitively, or whether you felt anything at all or got any message at all. But you get the feeling that something is different. Can't quite put your finger on it. And so you continue through this beautiful forest, really appreciative of the sunlight, the wildflowers. And then you recognize, I'm back in my sanctuary. back in my own personal oasis with all the same sounds and smells, tastes and visuals, same landscape, and you feel very at ease. You sit down and you recognize that you've been on quite a journey. You recognize that everything is changing. And you recognize that amidst all the change, you are the pure awareness. You are that which does not change. And that is the place that we can always rest, no matter what is happening outside of us or inside of us. And as you have that thought, you're reminded of your sankalpa, your intention, and you repeat that now 3 times in your head. Five, four, three, two, one. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. So see if you can stay inwardly focused. And just start wiggling your toes and your fingers. Still staying inward though. Still eyes closed or eyes soft. Just wiggling your fingers and your toes. Eventually rolling over to one side. And then just curling up in that side fetal position and just resting. Resting in this beautiful state of awareness that you have helped to create for yourself. Now, some of you may have the opportunity to just rest here longer. And if that's the case for you and you don't have any questions and you want to just lull and kind of rock in this beautiful hammock you've made for yourself, that would be totally okay. And you could just turn this off right now. For those of you that want to stick around, I'm going to be offering the merit, so sharing the merit of our practice today, and we'll be doing some questions and answers if anybody has them. So those of you that are staying, just kind of gently starting to move. Many of you have been in a very deep altered state of consciousness, so be really slow and gentle about getting up, moving. And if anybody has to go somewhere now, please take a few moments to really know that you've arrived back in your body and that it's safe to drive. Good. So if you're upright now, just assuming upright posture, tuning into your breathing. Just getting to benefit from the stillness, all that inner work you just did. And as you rest, I'm just going to dedicate all the fruits of this practice. So when we come together in a small or a large group like this, we generate a certain kind of energy. It's a really beneficial energy. And I'd really love today with all of you to share the collective, beautiful, peaceful, loving energy that we have cultivated as a group today, which is incredible. I would love to offer it out into the world, into the places of suffering. There's so many right now. Let's just visualize all of these good intentions, all of this love, kind, non judgmental, caring energy that we've created. However, you see that, if you see it coming out of your hands or your heart, and just see it floating upwards and moving throughout the entire planet. Maybe you can picture like someone in another country get hit with a blast of your love energy, and all of a sudden they're smiling. Or, a young mother in Japan who is getting overwhelmed with her new baby. And all of a sudden she feels a little bit soothed by one of our energy vibes. So see it spreading all over the planet. May the fruits of all of our blessings and all of our collective love and energy today, may it spread outwards in every direction throughout the entire universe, helping to end the suffering of all beings everywhere, exposing all beings everywhere to the true and sustainable causes of happiness and equanimity. I am so grateful to each one of you for coming today. It's so fun. I mean, it's crazy even how you can feel how I can feel the collective energy of this many people that yeah, it's really cool. So thank you for taking the time on this beautiful day, and I hope we can all get outside and enjoy it. I'm going to just pull up the questions now. Thank you for another wonderful meditation session. Thank you for the time. You're so welcome, Esther. You're very welcome. Esther also says the magnolia flower drawing your friend drew is beautiful. Yeah, it really is so pretty. That's the whole thing. Medicinefortheheart.com is her art website, and she's doing Mother's Day stuff right now. It's difficult for me to imagine practicing yoga nidra unguided. How does one start an unguided yoga nidra practice? Martha, that is an excellent question. I am not far enough along in my practice of yoga nidra to guide myself. I know people who practice yoga nidra really intensively for like a year, and then they are capable of guiding themselves. But when I do yoga nidra, yeah, I'm going in and out so much that I am unable to do that yet. So, but there are lots of books on yoga nidra, so you could pick up a book there's a lot of resources online too. So there may be some answers to that. But yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Is there an opposite kind of yoga nidra, maybe an energy meditation for the morning? That's a great question. And yoga nidra can be very energizing. It depends on the like intention you go in with. So it doesn't have to put people to sleep actually. And the idea essentially in the long-term practice is that you will stay awake. It's just in the beginning when you're learning it to fight with sleep and wake, you're probably just sleep deprived. So it's better just to fall asleep. But yeah, eventually it can be a very energizing practice. So Nan, if you were doing it in the right way with the right guidance, it could be an energizing practice. There is a practice called Kalabati breathing. I'm probably going to spell it wrong, but I think it's Kalabhatti, Kalabati. And that, if you, I don't have time to teach it today, but if you look that up, that's an energizing type of breath. It's very easy to learn. So Nan, that's what I would suggest would be Kalabhati breathing. Who did you use as the guided voice for this one? I think you mean whose script, the voice was mine, but the script was again Scott Moore. I think I said that at the beginning. Scott Moore Yoga LLC. You can download and buy. He has like 45 scripts or something like that, and you can buy them and download them. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I think just more, so many more lovely thank yous. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll end a little bit early today if nobody has any more questions. Actually, since we have a little bit more time, for those of you that want to stay, let's do 3 ohms together. I'm glad you liked the sound of the singing bowls, Mary. Good. I'm glad they didn't sound terrible. All right. So remember, when we chant, the idea is not how we sound. I think I've shared with many of you that I have been very self-conscious about the sound of my voice for a long, long time. And so I used to really hate chanting. Chanting on my own into Zoom is probably not going to be my favorite thing in the world. But the point for you is to really feel the vibration in your body. The vibration of your own sound. So I'm actually going to chant pretty softly, not just because I'm self-conscious, but also because of that. But also so that you're not just hearing so much sound from me, you're getting more sound from your own body and voice. And we're just going to do the simple ohms, and we'll do 3, and we'll do them all together. So first we're going to breathe in and out, and then in again, and then we'll do the first one. So breathe in. Om. Thanks so much for coming today.